May 2022 was full of surprises in the comic book world. From unexpected fan favorites to deep dives into classic characters and bold new stories. Whether you're chasing hype or hunting for the next great read, this lineup has something for everyone. Let's take a quick look at some of the standout books that had collectors and fans buzzing. The market showed just how wide the comic world really is. You had the ongoing appeal of Peter David's X Factor run, especially with Kasha's appearance, sparking a lot of excitement, even if she didn't make it into the movies. On the bigger end, Thor's comic debut by Jason Aaron kept its reputation strong despite the movie's mixed reception. But finally, the She-Hulk comics brought humor and heart, reminding us why the character remains a fan favorite, even as the TV adaptation struggled to find its footing. And as a result, quirky underdog Frogman jumped into the spotlight, surprising collectors who never expected this offbeat character to become so sought after. May's crop of books prove that great stories come in all shapes and tones, and that's what keeps readers and collectors hooked. Hey everybody, it's Izzy from Comics with IzzyVerseNYC, and this is your Covrprice Top 10 Comics Rewind. We're looking back to 3 years ago at May 2022. Here are some of the hottest MCU spec books from May 2022 that sparked buzz around She-Hulk, Thor, Love and Thunder, and Doctor Strange. Collectors were also eyeing rising indie hits, while speculation about a potential Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Daredevil crossover added extra excitement. These books dominated the conversation and the charts 3 years ago. But where do they stand now? Let's take a closer look at how this mix of mainstream MCU hype and indie potential has held up since then. Remember to like this video and subscribe to Covrprice's channel. Also turn on notifications to stay up to date on the latest comic book news. So let's kick off the list. Number 10, Elektra Black, White and Blood number 4, Kevin Eastman variant, 1 in 25, Marvel Comics, 2022. A 2022 anthology featuring Elektra sparked crossover rumors with TMNT due to Kevin Eastman's involvement and historical connection between Miller's The Hand and the Foot Clan. Raw copies tracked at $55, but graded 9.8s were initially unavailable. The anticipation crossover didn't happen, leading to the near mint to drop to $13, and a recent sale was as low as $3, and CGC 9.8 grades now selling for around $60. Despite initial investment losses, the book offers a low entry point for Eastman fans as its scarcity is expected to increase. But as of today, this book is a bust. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles began as a clever parody of Daredevil. From the ooze that mutated the Turtles, a nod to the same accident that blinded Matt Murdock, to their enemies, the Foot Clan, a spoof of Daredevil's The Hand, and the connections are playful and intentional. Even their sensei, Splinter, riffs off Daredevil's mentor, Stick. Any hype around the potential crossover would be awesome, and maybe someday it'll happen, but it wasn't meant to be 3 years ago. Number 9, Thor number 1, Russell Dauterman cover, Marvel Comics, 2014. 3 years ago, Jason Aaron's 2018 Thor number 1, featuring Jane Foster's first solo cover, generated significant anticipation for Thor, Love and Thunder. In May 2022, the issue sold well, $93 for Raws, $375 for graded 9.8. While Dauterman's subsequent variant demands remained strong in 2025 due to his recognition and ongoing Thor content, the market value has decreased to $12 raw and $44 for a graded copy, likely due to Thor Love and Thunder's hype. Despite being a bust, the subsequent printing set is available for around $150 raw.
Thor Love and Thunder missed the mark for many fans, with its over-the-top humor and uneven tone overshadowing the emotional weight of Jane Foster's transformation into the mighty Thor. The film, loosely pulled from Thor #1 by Jason Aaron, a powerful comic book that tackled themes of worthiness, sacrifice, and identity with heart and depth. While the movie didn't do the source justice, the comic remains a standout in modern Thor storytelling, and its importance continues to grow as interest in strong, character-driven narratives return. Thor #1 stands ready to be rediscovered and appreciated for the epic story it truly is.
Number 8. Grimm #1, Dave Johnson Virgin 1 per store variant. Boom Studios, 2022. Grimm, a supernatural mystery with 1970s rock elements and a modern twist on myths, followed Jessica Harrell's Grim Reaper search. Riding Boom's success, fans sought covers, favoring this Dave Johnson variant. In 2022, it sold 40 copies at $56 raw and $158 for CGC 9.8. Its popularity stems from sellout status, retailer exclusivity, and the skull appeal. Now, Grimm #1 is considered a bust, selling for $12 raw and $37 for graded 9.8s. Some blame Jessica Harrell for being too similar to Erica Slaughter. However, Dave Johnson collectors can now acquire this variant at the low, even graded.
Grimm from Boom Studios is a solid supernatural series that pulls you in with its haunting visuals and compelling lead in Jessica Harrell, a Reaper trying to uncover the mystery of her own death. While some folks try to draw comparisons to Something's Killing the Children and its lead, Erica Slaughter, the vibe is totally different. Erica's world is about hunting monsters in a brutal reality. Grimm leans more into the mystery of the afterlife with a touch of dark fantasy. It's not trying to be the next Psychic. It's carving its own path, and honestly, it's a great ride worth taking.
Number 7, X Factor 221, Dave Yarden cover. Marvel Comics, 2011. The Hell on Earth War conclusion in X Factor 221 3 years ago features the first appearance of the demon cat Kasha. This cameo sparked fan interest in Peter David's detective-focused X Factor investigation runs in 2022. At the same time, raw copies of X Factor 221 sold for around $50, likely due to confusion with Bast and the speculation about Kasha and Thor Love and Thunder. However, 3 years later, the book has become a bust, with copies now selling for approximately $2 due to the lack of significant development. Unless Kasha appears in a future film adaptation, there is little positive news to report regarding this issue's value.
When talk began that Kasha might show up in Thor Love and Thunder, collectors scrambled to grab this issue. But when the film hit and she was nowhere to be found, the buzz faded fast. Still, the real value of this book isn't tied to speculation. It lies in Peter David's incredible run on X Factor, where strong storytelling and rich character made each issue worth the read, with or without the Hollywood spotlight.
Number 6, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen #1, Kevin O'Neill cover, DC Comics, 1999. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen #1, under America's Best Comics, a key issue in Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill's acclaimed series blending Victoria literature and superheroes. saw a price increase in August of 2022 due to a Hulu reboot announcement. Raw copies reached $40 and a CGC 9.8 hit $333. The reboot, aiming for Alan Moore's original vision, unlike the 2023 film, fueled collectors' interest. Now, 3 years later, raw copies track at $23 and CGC 9.8s at $153, a market downturn. However, its status as a significant Alan Moore first issue sustained collectors' interest, while the absence of recent reboot updates cooled 2022 speculation. 20th Century Studios' history with sci-fi IP may maintain relevance, but its connection with Disney, given this was a DC project, introduced uncertainty.
The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen comic is a brilliant blend of classic literature and gritty steampunk adventure. It's crafted with sharp wit and layered storytelling by Alan Moore and Kevin O'Neill. Unfortunately, the 2003 film adaptation missed the heart of what made the comic special, trading in its rich character depth and clever world building for a clunky, action-heavy spectacle. While many fans still hope for a proper reboot that honors the source material, the comic stands tall on its own. It doesn't need a screen to prove its worth. It's already a masterpiece on the page.
Number 5, Fantastic Four, 245. John Byrne cover, direct edition, Marvel Comics, 1982. Featuring the first adult Franklin Richards going by the name Avatar. Possessing godlike reality warping powers, he ranked among Marvel's most formidable beings. Surprisingly became a top speculation target after Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness mentioned him. Collectors favor this over other early appearances, likely due to his potential MCU multiverse collapsing ability. In 2022, raw copies sold for $20 and CGC 9.8 were going for $311. Despite recent Fantastic Four releases and the upcoming MCU movie Fantastic Four First Steps, no new material directly correlates with FF245. Consequently, its value has decreased to $6 raw and $56 for a 9.8 graded copy, making it a bust for speculation. However, it's a John Byrne cover still makes it a potentially good collector's item.
John Byrne's run on Fantastic Four is considered one of the most definitive take on Marvel's first family. He brought the team back to its roots while adding maturity, sci-fi depth, and bold character development that helped redefine the book in the 80s. One of the standout elements was his exploration of Franklin Richards, not just a superpowered kid, but the seeds of the godlike adult he could become. Byrne handled these moments with a balance of awe and fear, giving us a glimpse into the potential and danger of someone with near cosmic power. It was smart, forward-thinking storytelling that still resonates today.
Number 4, the Sensational She-Hulk #1, John Byrne cover, Marvel Comics, 1989. The May 2022 trailer of Disney Plus She-Hulk Attorney at Law spurred collectors' interest in Sensational She-Hulk #1 due to its comedic tone and Tatiana Maslov's casting, aligning with the comic's fourth wall breaks, initially tracking at $40 raw and $284 for graded copies in 2022. Prices have since declined to $15 raw and $85 for graded copies, likely due to the lack of new media. This book is now considered a bust, though She-Hulk remains an iconic Marvel hero whose cinematic blemishes may eventually fade.
Just like his Fantastic Four run, John Byrne's work on She-Hulk showed his talent for reimagining characters in fresh and unexpected ways. Where he gave Fantastic Four a serious sci-fi edge, his She-Hulk run leaned into humor fourth wall breaking, and clever meta commentary, all while still respecting her superhero roots. He took a character who had often been seen as just the female Hulk and turned her into one of the most self-aware and entertaining leads in Marvel's lineup. Connecting the two runs, Byrne proved he could handle big cosmic stakes like adult Franklin Richards and still have fun poking at comic books. It's a testament to his range and why his Marvel legacy still stands strong.
Number 3, the Savage She-Hulk #1, John Buscema cover, Marvel Comics, 1980. Similar to the speculative interest in Sensational She-Hulk #1, the Savage She-Hulk, a Bronze Age key issue, features the first appearance of Jennifer Walters by Stan Lee and John Buscema, also gaining traction 3 years ago. Sales reached to $212 for raw copies and $1,150 for CGC 9.8 graded copies. The book's popularity surged after the trailer, partly to its iconic cover homage to the Incredible Hulk. However, this initial enthusiasm proved unsustainable. Currently, raw copies sell for $48 and 9.8 grades for $300, indicating a significant downturn and a bust. Despite this decline, the Savage She-Hulk status at the first appearance of a prominent Marvel female hero suggests ongoing relevance and potential for a market recovery, even if its value doesn't immediately increase.
The She-Hulk TV show had a lot of potential, especially with a character who naturally blends humor, legal drama, and superhero action. But the series struggled to find a clear and consistent tone, often bouncing between quirky comedy, underdevelopment courtroom scenes, and a parade of Marvel cameos. At times, Jennifer Walters felt like a guest in her own story, with character development taking a backseat to jokes and meta moments. While there were fun highlights, the show didn't quite deliver the depth or impact that fans were hoping for.
Number 2, Daredevil 25, Gene Colan cover, Marvel Comics, 1967. Originally appearing in Daredevil 25 3 years ago, Vincent Spatelo's A Leapfrog, a creation of Stan Lee and Gene Colan, is a minor Silver Age villain. This issue saw a surge in interest in 2022 following speculation about Leapfrog's potential appearance in She-Hulk Attorney at Law. At the time, raw copies were selling for $222 and a CGC 9.2 graded copies reach $300. Now, 3 years later, those values remain relatively stable at $167 for raw copies and $270 for CGC 9.2s. Despite the initial hype, the value of Daredevil 25 is holding steady, considering a push, likely due to its status as a significant key issue within a coincide 25-issue classic series, maintaining appeal for investors.
Leapfrog has always been one of those offbeat characters in the Daredevil universe. More of a punchline than a serious threat. A guy in a frog suit with spring-loaded boots isn't exactly top-tier villain material, and that's kind of the charm. When he showed up in She-Hulk, it was a fun nod to the quirky corners of the Marvel Universe, but he was played strictly for laughs. While it fits the tone the show was going for, some fans were hoping for a little bit more substance. Still, it's always cool to see these deep-cut characters get some screen time, even if it's just to remind us how weird and wild Marvel's world really is.
Number 1, Marvel Team Up 121, Ed Hannigan, Newsstand Cover Edition. Marvel Comics, 1982. Originally appearing in Marvel Team Up 121, Eugene Petillo debuted as Frogman, the son of the villain Leapfrog. This Copper Age issue, written by J.M. DeMatteis and illustrated by Kerry Camille, features Spider-Man partnering with Frogman, who used his father's costume for heroic purposes. In 2022, speculation drove sales of this comic to $40 raw and $250 for graded copies, as collectors sought out any frog-related characters in the Marvel Universe. However, 3 years later, the speculation proved unfounded, with raw copies now valued at approximately $5 and graded 9.8 copies at $60. Ultimately, it seems Leapfrog's legacy overshadowed his son's.
Frogman, the son of Leapfrog, is Marvel's lovable underdog in a not-so-intimidating amphibian suit. Eugene Petillo isn't out to be the next big hero, he just wants to do the right thing, even if he's bouncing into trouble more than out of it. He's the kind of character who shows up, makes you laugh, and somehow wins you over by simply not giving up. And yet somehow, in May 2022, his comic appearances became some of the most sought-after books in the market. Proof that in the world of comic collecting, even the unlikeliest heroes can leap into the spotlight.
The performance of the top 10 comics from May 2022 were generally underwhelming, with most failing to sustain initial public enthusiasm. Profitability in comic speculation proves as lasting values tend to be concentrated in classic issues. Newer comics often lack the long-term appeal necessary for significant appreciation. While these uncertain market conditions shouldn't necessarily deter engagement, it's crucial to recognize that window for profitability speculation can be fleeting, typically diminishing after related film or television releases lead to a decrease in public interest.
We've covered a great range of comics that highlight how varied and powerful the medium can be. From the deep emotional storytelling in Thor and X Factor to the humor and self-awareness of She-Hulk and the fun underdog charm of Frogman, there's something for every reader's taste. Even when adaptations like Thor: Love and Thunder or She-Hulk's TV show miss the mark, the original comics still deliver fun writing and memorable characters. And the classic adventures of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen show that great stories come in many styles, all proving that the best comics stand tall no matter the format. In the end, the comic book market reflects this diversity. Collectors and readers are drawn to everything from big-name runs to hidden gems, quirky underdogs to dark mysteries. It is a reminder that no matter what's trending, great storytelling always finds its audience, and that's what keeps the market alive and exciting. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe to Covrprice's YouTube channel for more great weekly content, including Top 10 Comics, The Shaker Report, and Comics Cover with co-founders Matt and John. And make sure to check out Covrprice.com to see what's on their current top 10 and the various trending movers and shakers. For more comic discussions from a guy who's a collector, reader, and artist, join me at Comics with IzzyVerseNYC for the latest trending comic talk, comic culture, and convention experiences. You can also find me on my social media platforms, IzzyVerseNYC. And until next time, Excelsior.